Welcome back to the mock CMMC demo series. I'm Derrich Phillips, founder of Aspire Cyber and a lead CMMC certified assessor. Today is going to be a value packed session because we're tackling one of the biggest challenges in CMMC compliance, protecting CUI within Microsoft 365 commercial to avoid the need of having to migrate to GCC High. Soon, I'll be joined by Andrew Lynch, VP of Sales, and Tony Rosales, Senior Solutions Engineer, both from Virtru. Virtru provides the data protection platform that secures both emails and files in your existing commercial cloud, offering a viable, cost-effective path to CMMC Level 2 compliance. Our goal is simple: to help you make informed CMMC solution decisions. I'll be playing the role of a small business owner, asking practical questions about compliance, CUI handling, and avoiding the GCC High migration. By the end, you'll have a clear foundational understanding of how Virtru addresses your CMMC needs. Ready to see how they do it? Let's bring on Andrew and Tony and dive in.
Derrich, I'll show you Virtru here in a second. I did just want to share a little bit about Virtru as a company first, just so you get familiar with kind of who we are, what we do, where we fit into the CMMC and data security landscape. So Virtru as a company, we've been around since 2012.
Okay.
We're headquartered in Washington, D.C. We have over 6,000 customers, really in every industry. Today, of course, we're going to be going over how we can help with CMMC, but we work with some of the largest banks in the country. We have over 9 states in the United States that use Virtru. We have thousands of healthcare providers that are customers. Really, all of them are looking for a way to easily share sensitive data and ensure it's protected and always under their control with Virtru. The way that we do encryption is with what's called the trusted data format. That is the method of encryption that our co-founder Will Ackerley was involved with inventing while working for the NSA. It's an open source standard for data security where we are wrapping each piece of your data separately with separate sets of encryption keys. We're using 256-bit AES symmetric key encryption for our encryption. We also are in the FedRAMP marketplace. We are authorized at the moderate level, so you can just go find our listing right in the marketplace. And who our sponsors, etc.
Andrew, real quick question. So when you say a FedRAMP moderate ATO, so is that equivalent or you're actually full ATO?
Nope. We're full. Here's our authorization right in the FedRAMP marketplace. So just go to marketplace.fedramp.com, type in Virtru, and here's our authorization right here.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Yep. So we've been authorized since 2023. Let me just make sure I get the right screen here again. And then, so just sharing that, of course, because that is important when it comes to CMMC. You need to be using something that's cloud-based, that is cloud-based rather, that's either FedRAMP Mod or equivalent. But we, again, are authorized. And then lastly, everything that we use is built to comply with FIPS. That said, of course, as you know, anything you're using needs to actually be validated. So everything I'm going to show you here today is FIPS 140-2 validated. You can see the certificate numbers right on the Virtru Trust Center and the links to the NIST listings there. We do have other products that we may not go over because we either don't have the validation for them or they just don't comply or are relevant to CMMC. But again, that's because we're not just a CMMC or even a compliance company. Truly, our purpose is to allow organizations to easily protect data, encrypt it with end-to-end encryption, and ensure it's always under their control and really keep it easy.
Understood. For someone kind of new to the CMMC space, my company, Aspire Cyber, we're looking to get into become a defense contractor. And as I've been exploring the different CMMC solutions and encryption and all the different acronyms of FedRAMP, I've been hearing terms like FIPS certified, FIPS validated, FIPS. Can you explain what that means? It's kind of confusing with all it's like a lot of marketing terms.
Yeah, I think to some degree they do get probably intertwined. I think the biggest thing for you to be aware of is anything that you're using for CMMC needs to actually be validated, where you're given the validation from NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology.
Okay.
So, and that is a process. So, as Virtru, as we build things, we build them to comply with that. But until we actually get that stamp of approval from NIST,
right,
technically not actually allowed or okay, or to the standard that you need. So that's where if you just go to the Virtru Trust Center, I'll just hold this up here. and just type in FIPS, we actually have some information here. So this actually does kind of list what you're talking about, either compliant or
Okay.
validated. And see, you'll see right here the specific products as well as how they're deployed will allow them to actually have that CMVP certificate. But for example,
Okay.
today we're going to show you our Gmail plugin for Chrome, and so you
Okay.
see right here is the listing that
Yeah.
that shows you.
It,
So
that,
you'll
that's very helpful. I had another demo where I went through a vendor and they pretty much told me that they were FIPS certified, and I asked them for more information about their certificate or license, and they kind of told me to essentially just go to the NIST website and find them. So
Yeah.
it helps that you all have that
Yeah, I
right
mean,
there
of course.
packaged up.
Yeah, we we are not a services company, so we don't, for example, do documentation for clients, but we're happy to always join calls. Part of course, becoming a Virtru customer is you do get customer support, someone dedicated to you, based in the United States. And this trust center, for example, is a resource
Yeah.
that anyone can use. We have a shared responsibility matrix, of course, or a
Okay.
CRM. I know another acronym that they call them too. That's in here that you can get. And we've heard that our customers who have been assessed and passed their level 2 assessment, that the Virtru component has been very easy for them, just in part because some of these resources we have, and also to get them to again mention specifically that we are FedRAMP authorized. We've heard that
Right.
that really does make it easier from a assessment perspective, just to go find the listing, in the FedRAMP marketplace and see that.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that being FedRAMP authorized, doing assessment, the assessors, whatever they're inheriting from Virtru, they basically they have to accept that because you've already gone through your FedRAMP certification assessment, and they're accepting whatever that body of evidence is. So yeah, I think that is help streamline it.
FedRAMP is an accepted equivalency within the CMMC world.
Yeah.
So that was just a little bit about Virtru, because to your point, you obviously want to make sure that you're at least doing your initial due diligence. Not even talking to anyone who's FIPS compliant needs to be validated. Right. So I wanted to make sure that you knew all of that. And we have other, of course, compliance certifications, but those are going to be the most relevant for you. I wanted to show you a couple products today, and how we kind of fit into the CMMC ecosystem. We by no means are a one-stop shop for CMMC. Of course, we are part of that journey. We don't claim to meet the majority of controls. We can help with a fraction of them, but some of the important ones, specifically around media protection, access control, specifically sharing, sending and receiving CUI, being able to audit it. That's really where we fit in. But we don't claim that we meet any more than we actually do. So we'll start with our email encryption. So this is one of our products where we have a direct integration into the most commonly used email platforms. We'll start with Microsoft. So we just plug with either add-in or extension right into Microsoft. It could be commercial cloud, could be GCC High. Of course, there's considerations with any of those as to how you're using them and how you're sharing CUI, and how Virtru is deployed. But we simply plug in. It takes seconds. I'll keep it super simple to start. You'll notice I have Virtru installed here. You can have it defaulted to on, but when I click that button, now this is encrypted already, even in draft mode. I'm just going to send an email to someone. And typing and spelling is always hard, so bear with me.
Especially when someone's watching you.
Yep, and it's being recorded.
Yeah.
So we'll just pretend that we're going to send out some CUI. So again, I just logged into my regular old email. There's no separate mailbox. It's just integrated into whatever my email address is already. Virtu's turned on. I can add an attachment here. And I just click send. And I just sent out an encrypted email with that file, just like that.
Okay. Wow, that seemed pretty easy.
Yep, we typically hear that. So let's transition to now, what will that recipient see when they get that email from you? Because obviously that recipient experience is going to be important. So this is just, these are all real accounts. Of course, they're just, this is a free Gmail. But this is a live environment. If something doesn't work, that ensures that it is real because it's technology and that stuff happens. But here's that email that I sent. So you can see, I'm going to show you how to read it in a sec. But before I do that, I want to point out a couple things that we hear are really important. First and foremost is that email is going to come directly from you. So whatever your email address is, Derrich, so if it's derrich.phillips@aspirecyber.com, that is who people are used to getting an email from. And that is who they're going to get an email from continuously every time when you send them an email encrypted with Virtru. Okay. There's no option to create a variation of that or anything like that. We hear that's helpful because number one, your recipients are gonna less likely think it's a phishing attempt. They're usually emailing you. It's also less likely going to go to spam because they've already been emailing you. We're not changing that. This will all be branded to you with your logo here. This is what's called the unencrypted introduction. This is just my standard one. I have this for all emails that I send, but you can also adjust this on a one-off basis when you send an email. I skipped over that earlier. That said, most people are quite simply going to see that it says unlock message here. So your recipient's going to click unlock message. It's just going to open up a default browser, whatever their default browser is. It's going to ask them first to confirm their email address. I'm just going to click this. And here's where we are going to leverage their federated ID to allow them to verify just using their existing mail credentials. Okay. So it knows that I'm on Google here. If I was on Office 365, it would just show sign in with Office 365. But don't worry, you can email anyone. They can be on Exchange, AOL, Yahoo. That said, probably don't send CUI to someone at Yahoo. But you can email anyone on any platform. They will never need to create an account or password or install Virtru. We would just automatically send them a one-time verification link. So here's where we are requiring them to authenticate. We are using zero trust architecture, but we let them do so using their existing mail credentials. So I'm just simply going to click sign in with Google, and the message is going to open up in what's called the Virtru Secure Reader. So this is one of our patents. The Secure Reader is where we are allowing someone to decrypt that content locally on this machine. This is also FIPS 40-2 validated. But the recipient, again, never has to create an account, password. I didn't skip any steps before this demo. I didn't go add you to my Virtru address book or configure you. You can instantly email anyone. And again, they're just going to simply click that unlock message button and authenticate.
Okay. So that's the end-to-end encryption.
Yep. So this is all end-to-end. So with this product, I'll get to some of the architecture in a sec. I first just wanted to make sure that you knew that this can all be branded as well. Same with this secure URL that can be branded with your subdomain. And then very importantly, again, your recipients, they're going to see the message. They can view or download that attachment that you sent if you want them to. I'll go over how you have control over that. And then very importantly, they can reply back. They can include attachments, and it's all going to be end-to-end encrypted. Okay.
Wow. Okay. That seems seamless. I guess if you can explain the difference to me, I was looking I use Gmail, Google Workspace, and I saw it had an option to encrypt email. Is that the same as what you just showed me? Is that end-to-end encryption just in your regular Gmail or Windows?
Specifically Gmail, to my understanding is, of course, there are different levels of encryption. For example, by default, Google uses native TLS encryption, which is just encryption in transit. So different than this, we're doing this, as I showed you, is end-to-end encryption, meaning in that sent folder, it's encrypted. Microsoft cannot access it. In transit, it's encrypted. And then in the recipient's inbox, it's encrypted and really guaranteed encrypted. Whereas with TLS, as you may know, that's, again, just encryption in transit, and the recipients need to be able to accept a TLS encrypted email. There are ways to, enforce that if they don't, to not allow it to be sent with additional configuration. But that would probably be most commonly. Google also does have confidential mode, for example, which allows you to add an additional level of guaranteeing something can be sent out. You don't have to worry about if they're on Google or if they accept TLS. But some drawbacks are you can't reply back securely unless you're on Google. So from a productivity perspective, probably not really going to be something to be considered. You also can't download attachments, for example. So they do then lastly have, of course, client-side encryption, CSE. That's available with the top SKUs that Google offers, to my understanding. With that, one of the options is to have a third-party key vendor, most commonly set up that key server for you to essentially facilitate the key exchanging. And the good news is we are one of those key vendors. So in fact, we
All
have
right.
case studies with Google customers that are using Virtru as their CSE key vendor. There are, again, some differences with, again, either needing to pre-configure people, the recipient experience. But yeah, at a high level, I would say, of course, not the exact same. We're using the TDF again as to how we do encryption, which is open source.
Okay.
Sometimes people do ask, is that like SMIME? And it's no, not quite. It's a different set of keys for every single object. So every piece of data you're sending is encrypted with a separate key. So, people sometimes ask, what if a key's compromised? Well, yeah, one key. Even if it was, that would be one piece of data. Whereas with SMIME, of course, then you could have a big issue. You have to, reset your private key, and that causes some drawbacks. So
That is a really kind of important point. Is that Virtru uses symmetric encryption as opposed to asymmetric encryption. Like SMIME, there is no public key available. It's all private keys.
Okay.
And Virtru's secret sauce, if you will, is we host and secure that private key so that it is not accessible to anyone. Yeah. Because we're doing all the decryption for you. Even within the secure reader, you're simply gaining access and being given the ability to decrypt using that key, but you never have it, right? The recipient never has the key, and the senders never have the key, right? They're all being held in trust by Virtru.
Okay. That makes sense. And another point you made, Andrew, in regards to using the same email. So still using, let's say, the dphillips at aspirecyber.com. I know I received some emails from people that's like in GCC High, and it's like they may have like a .us or a different email. And like I said, that likely can go to spam or be a little more skeptical if I'm not used to receiving emails from that. I do like that feature of this.
Yeah, and I would say that's I feel like that's really related to the fact that we're not just a CMMC, DoD, ITAR, NIST software.
Yeah.
We have thousands of, again, healthcare providers that need to just email their patients' health information.
Right.
We're not working with technical people. And at the end of the day, I think CMMC is still really about conducting business and collaborating. And to your point, if you're usually getting an email from Derrich.Phillips at aspirecyber.com, and the next email is from .secure.aspirecyber.com, well, if you're paying attention in your cybersecurity awareness training, that is not the same thing.
Right.
And so, you may just default to not even opening it. You may not think to reach out to Derrich and say, hey, did you send this to me? Is this you? And meanwhile, Derrich is waiting for you to reply back so he can actually finish a project to eventually get paid on. So
exactly. Right.
So people really like that. We're not trying to overcomplicate it. In fact, we're trying to do the opposite. So I showed you kind of the two-way back and forth. I did want to also just point out that we do store that authentication in their cookies. So that process of having to click unlock, select sign in with Google, that may not be it every time. You're never going to know what your recipient's cookie settings are. But if you go back the next day or to that same email and try and unlock it, it actually should just open right up. So again, even easier. That's pretty common with most, once you do create an account and a password. But again, reminder, sorry if I can't stress it enough, there are no passwords with Virtru. It's just not. Nothing we have requires you to make one. We don't store passwords. We have nothing to do with them. And our clients really like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll jump back to just that Microsoft. I wanted to show you that for you internally, having Virtru being the customer, of course, you're never going to have to do anything like clicking unlock. It's just going to decrypt in line within your Outlook because you have the plugin installed. Okay. So it kind of has you authenticated that way. The next thing that we here is important with Virtru is the control over your data. So at any point in time, you can just go right into your sent folder. On the top right, there's additional controls here. You can revoke a message. What that's going to do is revoke the second key needed for your recipient to unlock that message. What's happening behind the scenes with our email encryption product is we use what's called split knowledge key architecture. So that means for each object, we're generating a set of keys. So in that email, there was the body, that's one object, and then there was the attachment, that's the second. Each are wrapped with two keys. One of the keys is going to reside with the actual data. So it's going to sit in this mail server. It's going to then travel and perhaps land into a Microsoft server. We are then storing the second key. So
Okay.
at no point in time is the actual encrypted data and both keys together, except when someone has authenticated and is authorized to access it.
Got it. Yeah, that's a helpful feature, especially I've had experiences where I sent the email on accident or to the wrong recipient or
Yep. Yeah, and
forget
no need to,
or
you don't have to contact the admin. You can just go right into your sent folder. That's just one of the controls. I'd also skipped over when I first sent the email. I'd clicked on Virtru. I also skipped over. These are additional security controls that you can place over the content, so you can set an expiration. You can disable the message being forwarded. These two, watermarking and persistent file protection, are specifically for attachments.
Okay.
Watermarking is not going to allow the recipient to download or print the attachment. It's also going to put the recipient's email address across it. Persistent protection will not, will wrap the file with a .html format. So it will allow someone to download it, but anytime they go to open it, they're going to have to authenticate in that same secure reader. So in turn, you as the sender, you always have ownership over that file. You could revoke it even if someone has downloaded it. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And then lastly, you don't have to just rely on your users needing to know when to turn on Virtru.
Oh, that was my next question.
Yep. So if we go to compose another message, let's pretend, let's see, let me just grab a template of something. So we'll pretend that there may be a pattern or a certain type of data that the admin would not want to be sent unencrypted. If I click send, this is our warning feature. So this is again totally customizable by the admin. The admin wants to warn the sender to, hey, reconsider. This may contain sensitive info. We know that the reality is that, rules aren't always 100%. That's why they're giving them the option in this case. They're allowing the sender to choose. Do I want to stop, go back and send it? Do I want to send it encrypted? It also, you can customize what you want the message to say. If you want the message to say, hey, this message contains CUI in the body, we want you to send it as an attachment, you can say that. It's all customizable. So that's the warning rule. And then lastly, if you want to automatically encrypt, of course, you can do that too. We just have the phrase secret sauce, that if that's in there, it should automatically encrypt it. So notice Virtu's turned off. I click send, it just automatically encrypted it. Okay. And there's no way for your employees to get around that. Typically, you wouldn't tell them what all the rules are. But a rule is going to supersede if they had Virtru turned off, for example.
So is Virtru essentially like incorporating data loss prevention rules to the tool?
We don't go as far as calling them full data loss prevention because it's not forward scanning or passive scanning. It's really we really kind of refer to them more as security rules, or DLP light, if you will, right? Okay. So as the information is hitting Virtru, we can set certain guardrails and stipulations and context, but we would not call our solution a DLP solution.
Okay, understood.
And Andrew, we might maybe dive into this a little bit more, but we specifically in this space, we like to work with like DSPM or DLP providers, given that they can tag certain information, put certain information within it. So like, again, we can hone in on that CUI tag that goes into that information and say, okay, this needs to be encrypted and have an expiration date or something like that. Those are things that we do within that environment.
Yeah, that's a good call out. That everything I've shown, of course, so far is full Virtru, but we do integrate with other technologies. We know that companies are likely in some cases using very built out DLP tools that we can integrate with our gateways. But yeah, for this, we're just kind of showing the Virtru stuff. So I showed you revoking. You can also then just go right back in your sent folder. They could call you and say, hey, Derrich, sorry, I was on PTO. I didn't get to access it. I need it again. Just go right back in, just reauthorize. So it's very quickly, just all you're doing is controlling decryption keys by doing it. It's all happening behind the scenes. Let me just switch over. I just real quickly wanted to show you the interface for Gmail. Same concept, so it'll speed through now, just different interface. So this is it for Gmail, just the plugin for Chrome. Click this toggle. Again, send an email to someone. Pretend that there's a template with some sensitive data. You can add attachments also. And you'll notice when I add the attachment, see how it adds the .tdf to the end. That's where we're encrypting it with the trusted data format even before I click send. So it is through end-to-end encryption. But again, same concept, rules, etc. Just different user interface.
Got it. And I know you mentioned earlier, Tony, if you can talk more to zero trust at a high level. I know Andrew mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, so we definitely work within the framework of zero trust, right? In terms of we are trusting but verifying with all of our requirements to be able to decrypt information. That's why we require the recipient to validate who they are, right? We're making sure that they don't have to have a username and password that's set up through us, but we are asking for that validation, right? So it's always checked. And while they can, token that, while the security token is cached within their browser, it is going to relieve itself at some point. So they're going to have to re-authenticate. And we just don't really see that as again, within this particular realm of security and compliance, we don't see that necessarily as a bad thing. We actually see that as trust but verify. That would be kind of the key thing that we're looking at as far as zero trust is concerned, as well, of course, as the information or object level encryption that we're providing.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. So just the last thing about the email encryption, just now that we're here in Gmail, again, just go into your sent folder. A couple other things to point out is, again, in your sent folder, it's encrypted, still has to decrypt. No one has opened this message, but if they had, this would be a green envelope. So with our Gmail product, you can go right into your sent folder and just physically see has someone accessed this message. Again, here's the revoke hand. You can also adjust all those additional security options. Can be adjusted at any point in time with any client, Microsoft or Gmail. So you can set an expiration, you can extend one, you can watermark. You can disable resharing again at any point in time, even if they've opened it, downloaded it, replied, etc. We also, lastly, do not break the ability for you to search through your sent folder, even though it is end-to-end encryption. We actually do have a patent on encrypted search, where we generate search tokens, so you can actually still go through your sent folder and search for things, and it's going to, well, here it's not showing the token, but it's going to surface emails that actually contain that. Give it a sec here. There we go. That was the one hiccup so far. It just took a second. Blame it on home internet speed. But so, often people forget about that. It's when you're adding end-to-end encryption to email, normally you're breaking other things that you do on a regular basis, forget about.
Yeah. Right.
So you may forget when you're evaluating SMIME. Hey, I go into my sent folder on a regular basis and search for, did I send this email a year ago to this person?
Yeah.
You can do that to your sent folder still, but also you can do that in the control center, which I'll show you in a second.
Okay.
Let's switch over to what's called Secure Share. This is really going to be the next product. So we're totally switching now from how we can accomplish sending CUI via email to now what's called Virtru Secure Share. Which is fully hosted by us. It has really nothing to do with Google or Microsoft, for example. You may have noticed in my email signatures, I had a link right here that says if you need to send me something securely, click here. So that is one iteration of Secure Share. Secure Share is you can be accessed multiple ways. It's just a website that you can go to use it. We also have a desktop progressive web app that you can download and install on your desktop. But as I shared with the email product, you as the admin, Derrich, you're going to install it within your email client. It'll take a couple seconds. You're then going to go invite your users in our control center to do the same. Again, no gateways set up, no configuring anything, no setting up keys. With this product, I'm going to send you a link. You're going to click the link and you're going to sign in with your mail provider, and you're going to literally be then logged in to Secure Share. So with this product, and then you would send the link and your team would do the same thing. With this, there's obviously a couple basic workflows we support, sharing and requesting files. This product is very file centric. You can send messages.
Okay.
But a large use case for this is, of course, not just sending files, but receiving them, giving people a mechanism to send you something securely. Let's start with sharing. So if I wanted to send a file, of course, I could email it as an attachment, but you may often hit the file size limitation with Google or Microsoft. With our Microsoft email encryption, we're just going to mirror whatever your attachment size is for Microsoft. With Gmail, we are going to raise it to 150 megabytes encrypted. But with this product, we support files up to 15 gig per file. So we also support large files sharing. So with this, we do integrate with either being able to pull directly from your computer, like a downloads folder, or Google Drive, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams. So I'm just going to click my computer. Let's just pretend I'm sharing this. Could be anything. Click next. These are additional security options. Again, just like the email encryption that if you want to enforce, you can. All of these can also be set up via the same rules that I showed you. We'll show that in the control center. Just for demo purposes, I'm going to keep it simple and click next. You can put in who you want to send the file to. The file itself is always going to be encrypted. That's the only way to send a file within Secure Share. If you wanted to send a message, you can, of course, too. And if you wanted to encrypt that, you could encrypt that. Otherwise, it's just going to be sent via Virtru, which is it sent via TLS? Correct, Tony?
Yes.
So, but if you wanted to add the same end-to-end encryption to this message, you could by clicking that, and that can also be enforced via rules too. But just to keep it simple, I'm just going to click share. Actually, before I do that, I did want to point out we also do support groups. So if I wanted to send a file from me, or if I wanted to send a file from procurement or support so multiple people can have access to it. I'm going to click share. And so that's how I shared the file out. At this point, we're kind of going to speed through the demo because it's all going to leverage the same technology, same TDF, secure reader. So let's see what that person you just shared a file to is going to see. So here they're going to get that notification. I will point out currently today with this product, the notification actually does come from Virtru. We are going to have the ability for it to come from you shortly, but I did want to point that out just to be fully transparent. This can all be branded again as well too. They're going to see that message here. They're going to click view file, and now you've kind of been through the drill. It's going to pop up the option or the need for them to authenticate. Since I've already authenticated in this Chrome browser, it's not requiring me to. But if it's the first file, they will go through the exact same thing of selecting their email, clicking sign in with Google or Microsoft, and it's going to open up in the secure reader. And here they have the ability to either view or download it. Keep in mind, Derrich, you could disable them being able to download it if you wanted it to.
All seems very seamless.
Okay, and I think this may be my personal benefits, so I'm not going to actually show this. We had open enrollment yesterday, and I was downloading.
It's all about your demo documents, Andrew.
I want to share that PII.
That's right.
PHI in that case.
Keep in mind with this, the person can also securely reply back also. So if they need to download that, edit it, send it back to you, they can. Okay. So two-way collaboration.
Any type of file, document, PDF.
Tony?
Pretty much every kind of file you can imagine. Up to including things you probably don't want to have come in, where you can get with us and say, okay, we don't want executables transferred. We don't want automatically running scripts transferred, things like that. We've seen people quite a lot actually send like CAT files, DMG files, things like that. So you can do all sorts of sharing for whatever purpose you need. So we're not going to limit you. We're going to let you tell us what you want. We're not going to limit you.
Okay.
And one more kind of thing about secure share, and this is really where the FedRAMP ATO comes in pretty big. Because we're storing that information for you, that equivalency would come up during an audit, and so that is an important thing to call out, that we are indeed storing your information with secure share. Email, it's a little bit different. We're more storing the keys and some metadata. We're never holding the actual message itself. But with secure share, we 100% are holding that data.
Got it.
Yeah, so this product, this is not leveraging split knowledge architecture. So as Tony mentioned, we are storing the actual encrypted content and both keys.
Yep.
So for example, for ITAR, you would need to set up what's called the Virtru Private Key Store, which is a light deployment where you would encrypt one of the sets of keys that we are hosting for you with your own private key. So we would not then be able to decrypt anything.
Yeah.
Okay. But of course, again, we're FedRAMP authorized. We have our SOC 2 Type 2. We have, of course, controls in place to not allow someone to decrypt something at Virtru.
Got it.
So that would be how your recipient would receive something from you. The other workflow, again, would be for you to request something. So this is where there's a couple ways of doing this. You could send them a notification via email. They're going to get a notification like I just showed you. Instead of it asking you to upload the file, it's going to say, Derrich is requesting something from you. Click here. So just I'll skim through that. More commonly, though, people really like this copy link. So this is the one that I had in my signature. So then your recipient, you can copy this. It's just a link. You could email it to them. You could Slack it to them. You could Teams it to them. Ask them to bookmark it. And then any point in time they need to send you something securely, they don't need to contact you. They're just going to click that. And I actually will show you what that looks like. So let's pretend it's next Wednesday. And James needs to send you something, Derrich. They don't need to contact you and ask, how should I send it? They're just going to click that. Again, they're going to sign in if they haven't with Google or whatever their identity provider is.
Right.
They're going to upload the file. Let's see. Click next. They have the ability themselves to place those additional security controls as well by default. We take the position that it is their data. Just because they're not a Virtru customer doesn't mean they should be at a disadvantage. But you as the customer, Derrich, are able to disable that if you would like to. Okay.
Okay.
By default, they can. They can't change who it's going to. Of course, you're the link owner, Derrich. They're going to click share. And then again, you probably guessed it by now. You'll get an email notification saying that this person has shared a file to you. And you also, even though you're the Virtru customer, you're going to click view file and you're going to open it in that same Virtru secure reader.
Okay.
The screen is popping up over here with the desktop app. Okay. The last thing I haven't touched on is, part of CMMC, of course, is the audit capabilities, being able to see where your data is, who has access to it, control access to it is very important. With Secure Share, if you just license this product, we actually do have it right in here. So you'll be able to see all the files that you've shared. You can see who the recipients are. You can see if it's been accessed. This one has by one of one. This one has not. You can see how it was shared. You can control it here by clicking the gear. You can adjust who has access to it. You can revoke access to it. You could change the security controls. This is a file, again, that was shared earlier today. You could add someone to it. You don't need to redo the whole thing. So you can run queries in here as well for Secure Share. All of this also is going to be in our audit log, which I'm going to show you in the more broader control center.
Okay. Everything's logged. Yep. And then if I needed to send those files like to my SIM tool or something like that, I can do that.
Tony, I'll let you take that.
Yes. So you can't directly send them to a SIM tool. Our API is not that kind of API, right? It's more of a to allow you to scrape the information out. So it's an access API, right? So you create a script, or if you set something up to do that and scrape the information out and then upload it to the SIM tool, then yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Easy enough.
The short answer is, though, yeah, it's accessible.
Yeah, and this is the control center more broadly for also our email encryption product. So the options on the left here are, we'll start with how you would deploy Virtru. So you can just do a domain sync. You can create a provisioning group. We know that it's not going to be common that everyone's going to need this for your assessment. So you could just go make a provisioning group, do a sync, and then just those people that you've added will be invited to then install and use Virtru. Again, all they're doing is installing the plugin, and they'll refresh their email. There'll be a button that says activate. They click that, and then they're done. If they didn't click that, you'll see that they haven't done it here. But that's
Okay.
to the extent. This is where also you can adjust what the admin permissions are. That's also important for CMMC, controlling who can audit this, etc. The rules I went over, this is where you would set those up. So we have outbound rules. Disregard these two. Again, these would be more for, of course, a healthcare provider, or inbound rules would be with our gateway. But we have some regex patterns already set up. We have keywords. You can easily just go make your own keyword. This would be for the subject line, body, attachment, and the options are to encrypt, warn, block, and then log only. Just go turn them on. You can also do when you're sending to a specific domain. So if you're sending to a prime, for example, at Lockheed.com, whenever you send an email to them, maybe you always want to warn your sender. Super easy to do that. Just click add rule. And then anytime they go send an email to that domain, they'll get that pop up, even if they didn't turn Virtru on. And then lastly, you can make what are called custom rules. So there's even a CUI one in here. This looks like it's one for an attachment that someone was working on. So you can get granular with the whole if-then statement. So if the sender is this specific person and there's an attachment that contains this specific type of data or pattern, or there's a specific subject line that matches this, then we want to warn them.
Okay.
So that's how you, that's just an example.
Would I have the option there to, instead of warning them, actually force encrypt?
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, I like that.
Totally whatever you want. So just click add rule. You can scope it, users or groups. So if the sender, is, we'll pick on Derrich.
Yeah, I like that. Taking that the user error out of the equation in that scenario.
And let's say then you're sending an email to, so these are all the options you can see here for statements. The recipient contains, and let's say that there's an attachment, because we think that, that's more likely the CUI, and you can even do of specific type, but, is of type dot, docx. Then encrypt the email and expire after 4 days.
Okay,
So
very granular.
That's how you set up the rules. So we get that. Last two things are related to org data and audit. Org data is more the sort of visual way to, for example, revoke access, use the admin to anything your organization has sent encrypted, see if it's been opened. We have it for email, secure share, and files. Files would be an attachment for an email, because again, we are encrypting them separately, so we break them out separately in here. But this is where, again, you as the admin, you can see my colleagues have been doing some demos, I think, pretty close to where we were. This is an email that was sent to 6 people. We can see who's opened it. This person has with the open envelope. We could revoke everyone else if we wanted to. We can see the name of the attachment that they've shared. We can, or just revoke the whole thing. So this is where you as the admin have some additional control. But for CMMC, kind of SIM integration ways you mentioned, that's probably going to more be our audit tab. This is where anytime a policy is created, it's all logged in here. So there's a lot of data in here, not just if an email's been opened or sent, but how many times it's been opened, every time, from what IP address, every time a rule's triggered, if they ignored the warning rule. So here's one where you can see all the telemetry we're including and attributes, and all this can be downloaded also. Okay.
All right.
So I know that was a lot.
Like that.
Yeah, I think I had said this is going to be 30 minutes. We're about double that. My apologies.
No, it's thorough. I like it. As long as you're good on time, this is awesome.
We can touch on pricing next. Obviously, that's important. We're pretty transparent with our pricing. If you just go to Virtru.com,
that's
website. So as we make updates, you'll see it. But if you just go to Virtru.com and click on pricing, we do have a package for CMMC, ITAR use cases. It includes everything that we went over today. The email encryption product. It includes secure share. It includes our FedRAMP authorization, the FIPS 140-2 validation. It includes hosting your own keys if you would like to do so. It includes the ability for us to be your Google CSE key vendor if you would like to get that set up as well too.
Okay.
We have a dedicated US-based customer success manager. It comes with 5 licenses. You can always add more to that. The first 5 licenses are billed annually. It comes to $4,788 per year. And then each additional user per year is $210 per year.
Oh, all right. So See, and 5 licenses, that's the minimum. Is that correct?
Yep, that's the minimum.
Okay.
You just get 5, whether you use them all or not. You just get them. But if you need 6, you don't have to buy 2 of those packages. You just buy 1 more license.
Okay. Yeah, I like the idea. Well, I love the idea. You all have your pricing on the website and it's transparent. Because other solution vendors I've talked to, it's been like pulling teeth trying to get pricing.
Yep. My favorite is when you see that it says they have transparent pricing and then it says contact us for pricing.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And then, yeah, of course, for larger deployments, we have, clients with 50,000 plus licenses of Virtru. That's going to be a custom quote, where there are multiple components. So for that, yes, you would need to contact us. We would go over the different components of that. And depending on the tier, we would give you an accurate quote. But for your average small business in the defense industrial base, this is probably going to be a great option.
Yes. So my business will fall into that category. And yeah, good to know that this solution wouldn't break the bank. I've heard some horror stories of solutions costing north of 6 figures. And so, yeah, that's reassuring. So what does that look like? So if I decided to move forward with this solution, what's the onboarding? What will be the next steps?
Yeah, so next steps would be, of course, we would send you our shared responsibility matrix, as well as some other resources like the Trust Center. Even before signing up, we can send that to you just so you have that for you to, of course, work on your documentation. But we would send you a quote. Once you sign it, it would take us internally about 15 minutes to activate your licenses. Once those are activated, we'll then send an email introducing you to your customer success manager. At that moment, you can start using Virtru if you really wanted to. We usually recommend jumping on a call with them for them to go over what your goals are, timeline, what products you're going to deploy. Yeah, their job is to not just help you start using Virtru, but ultimately make sure that you renew. We have a very high renewal rate. Of course, as a venture-backed SaaS company, that is truly the indicator of are you a successful business. It's not how much you sell, it's how much you renew, and ours is extremely high. Okay. So they'll work on deploying Virtru with you, doing a training with you and your users if you would like. Keep in mind that this is just everything that we have currently to sell to you. Meaning there's no other hidden things that if you need blank, that wasn't included. And everything I went over today is just in this package. Support is included if you need it. We do, of course, ask that you just submit a support request on our website so we can track it. But you also have access to your customer success manager. And typically, again, deployment for you, I'm not exaggerating, it is going to be minutes. If you set up the Virtru private key store, that is a technical deployment that will take working with our deployment team. It's not hard, but it's not instant. Everything else is SaaS, so you can start using Virtru immediately. So.
All right. So no additional
fee. Get an invoice, and then you pay us.
Okay. Yeah, gotta get paid. So so there is no additional fee for the onboarding.
Nope, that's all included. Yep.
Wow.
For this package, it's all included. Of course, for enterprise deployments, we do have additional support tiers, for example. But for what we would recommend for you, it's just this.
Okay. Now, this seems like potentially would really work for our organization. One more thing you mentioned earlier, I would like to get a look at is the shared responsibility matrix, so I can understand like what am I inheriting from Virtru versus what I'd still be responsible for in my organization.
Yep, I can send that over to you.
Okay.
It shows that we help with 27. We can help with, of course, depending on how you configure it, what products you're using. 27 out of the 110 controls. Yeah, that's something we can just send right over to you after this.
Okay. And then with your
and then you're welcome also off out of this, you certainly put that up if you'd like to, Derrich.
Okay, great. That'd be good. And as far as I know, once my company gets ready to get its certification assessment, that I will need to share with the assessors your FedRAMP package, I guess the body of evidence. Would I be able to access that in the Trust Center, or do I have to request it separately as a customer?
You can request it. We have the Trust Center that has documentation around that and the listing. And if anything is not sufficient, of course, we're flexible to work with. If you need to join a call with either, our head of compliance or someone from our compliance team to get you what you need, we're happy to do so.
Okay. And I won't get a bill for that.
No
extra. All right. Cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time today, you and Tony, to give me an overview of this solution. Like I said, I'm in the market actively looking for a CMMC solution. primarily for secure email and storage. So this certainly is a very competitive and attractive offer, especially how seamless it is. I won't need a separate email. I can just add it into my existing Gmail. That's a big plus. So, I'm glad we had this demo today.
We'll be in touch, and hopefully look forward to working with you, Derrich.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Well, that concludes our mock demo with the Virtru team. Thank you to Andrew and Tony for showing us how Virtru provides a powerful, cost-effective alternative to other CMMC solutions. If you are currently running on Microsoft Commercial Cloud, Virtru is an essential solution to explore as it helps you meet those critical CMMC Level 2 requirements while keeping your budget intact. I want to emphasize that Aspire Cyber is an authorized Virtru reseller. We know the complexities of CMMC, and we actively endorse solutions that simplify compliance. We can help you integrate Virtru seamlessly into your existing Microsoft commercial environment and map the platform directly to the CMMC requirements. If you're ready to explore Virtru's cost-saving CMMC solutions and see a custom demo or need a full compliance readiness support, reach out to us directly. Visit aspirecyber.com. We're here to help you accelerate your CMMC compliance journey and secure defense contracts. Thank you for joining the mock CMMC demo series. We'll see you next time.